got this email from my son, and I knew that at that moment I had failed him. Somehow I had not lived my life correctly. I had not been politically active when I needed to be politically active. I had not voted for the right candidates. I had done something wrong. It was a simple enough email. The title was News. And the first line in the body was, "Well, Dad, we're going." And that's how I knew the rumors were true. He was on his way to Afghanistan. There are many things you want for your children. You really want them to experience the world and see places, but you do not want them to go to war. And I particularly did not want this for my son. It was an experience I hoped I had protected him from. It's not like this was the first chance I got to experience his mortality. At the age 21, he came back from Reading University and he had this cough. And it wouldn't go away, and we couldn't treat it. Finally, his childhood pediatrician suggested, "You're in Houston, go to the med center." 24 hours later, he was under the knife for cancer surgery. You don't need cancer when you're 21 years old. It's just not that kind of experience that you're looking for. And yet, inside that, he managed to hang on to his sense of humor. An old girlfriend sent him 2 pens. One said, "Whatever doesn't kill me makes me strong," on the other pen. As a thank you gift, he sent her back 2 pens. One said, "Whatever doesn't kill me must have missed me." That's Colin. And when I was talking to my brother, I realized that inside this curse of cancer, there was a golden opportunity. As Ron told me on the phone one night, well, the Army won't want him now. Because for some reason, ever since he was a little kid, Colin wanted to be a soldier. And despite all the counseling that my 2 brothers and I gave him about what the Army's like, and about everything about it, he still wanted to be a soldier. Well, when he came back from cancer treatment, they washed him straight out of ROTC. And we thought, we'll never have to worry about that again. Then came September 11th, 2001. Then came the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq. And the all-volunteer Army wasn't getting as many volunteers as it used to. And I found myself in Fort Benning, Georgia, attending his graduation where he got his Blue Infantry Corps to serve in the Vaughn and 10th Mountain Division. A senior sergeant gave a presentation to parents and said, "I want to tell you, your children heard a call. We're an all-volunteer Army. Nobody forced them here. There's no draft. They're not allowed to sentence people to go to the U.S. Army anymore. They're here because they heard the call." And I thought to myself, Sergeant, you probably don't know Colin, but you know how to describe him because that's what he heard. And so, well, Dad, we're going to Afghanistan. They went to Afghanistan in the face of one of those many Taliban offensives. The Taliban claimed they had 10,000 fighters that were coming in from Pakistan. Army intelligence said, "Don't worry, it can't be more than 2,500. And 800 of you guys should be enough to stop them." It was a simple mission. They took them out in the middle of nowhere, and for 80 straight days they marched into the face of the enemy. And they killed them. Sometimes with airstrikes, sometimes with artillery and mortar fire that they carried in on their backs. Sometimes with long-time range sniper fire, mostly in close-range firefights, occasionally hand-to-hand. They came back from 80 days in the field like coming out of a black hole. During that whole time, we heard nothing. I could tell you what every movie star in Hollywood was having for dinner, but the newspapers wouldn't print anything about Afghanistan. It was the far side of the world, and they just didn't care. And it didn't matter to them that it was my child that was over there fighting for his country. He said when they came back, their captain said, "Guys, good job. Go get a hot shower, go get some hot chow, and get some rest." The company sergeant said, "Well, guys, Captain had it just a little bit wrong. We'll go get hot chow first, then the hot shower." When they showed up at the mess hall, it was crowded. There were no seats. Colin said, once they got one whiff of us, that place was empty. Dad, we gave a new meaning to Army Strong that day. We thought at that point, he probably won't be deployed again because it's a year between deployments. Then they came up with this thing called the troop surge, and 7 months later, he was in Baghdad, in a place called Nissan, a slum that Saddam Hussein never sent his soldiers into. I got this chipper email back from him. "Well, Dad, it's great. It's not like the old days. We don't got to go out in the field and look for them like you and my uncles did. We just open the front door if we want to firefight." It went on for 90 days. And at the end of that, the people of Baghdad repudiated violence, and the troop surge was ended, and we came to the pass that we're at today, where Baghdad finally had a peaceful future. And my son was fortunate enough to participate in that, but I hated the fact that he had to go do that and experience those things and do those things. Well, Dad, we're going. You worry about the wounds you don't see. And we were worried what this would do to his state of mind. But a story from a friend in our neighborhood made us feel a little bit better. They said one night he was driving home after he got back from Baghdad, and he ran over a wild rabbit in the road. He drove 4 blocks to our house, got a shovel, walked back, took the bunny out into the woods, and buried him. Well, Dad, we're going for the shovel. He's still a nice man. It's not like his sister is any different from him either. It's kind of disturbing when you get a call from your daughter at 3 o'clock in the morning. You kind of wonder what they're up to. She was a paralegal for a major law firm. I said, "What are you doing, Aaron? Call me in the middle of the night." She said, "Well, Dad, I have to drive a motion to the state Supreme Court. It has to be there by sundown tomorrow." "Why does it have to be you?" "Well, Dad, we're going." I think about them sometimes, and I'm reminded of a scripture, Isaiah 6, where Isaiah somehow accidentally finds himself in the throne room of God, and God asks, "Who shall we send, and who will go for us?" And in a small, still voice, Isaiah says, "Here am I, Lord, send me." And when I think about that, and I think about those 2 fine young people that I've had the privilege of sharing my life with, sometimes I don't feel like a failure at all. Madam Toastmaster.